Iman.
Bonjour.
So today for the Womanity Project, I have the pleasure to have a conversation with Iman M'Fah-Traoré. And Iman is a writer, a poet, also back at school, at the new school, in a liberal arts degree.
Yeah. And
Iman, also you work full-time?
Yes, I do.
You do? In a corporate
setting.
Yeah. And you also have two sisters that you really raised with your stepfather, and we'll talk about it. And I guess you were born in France, but you've been living your whole life in Brooklyn, New York, or in New York City.
New York in general.
New York in general, exactly. And from a mom who was half French, half Brazilian, right? And where is your dad?
He's 100% Ivorian. My biological father, yes.
Okay, great. So that's it for the data presentation of Iman. Iman is, by the way, 21 years old, young person.
Young.
Yeah. Yay. First question is, do you identify with a gender and why?
I do. I definitely do. I identify as a woman. I always have. I think that now in more recent times, with interacting with more trans people and non-binary people, I'm starting to understand that the fact that I identify myself as a woman is highly tied to my culture. Because I think that if I had been just raised here and I had no Frenchness, I might be non-binary today. Because I do feel very fluid without the necessity to say that I'm fluid or whatever. It's just like, I'm a woman because I'm a woman. I wake up, I do this, I do that. It doesn't matter to me as much. But having conversations with people who are much more immersed in the American setting and the American conceptualization of gender, I see that I could have been different had I not had my culture. So I think that gender is definitely tied to where you're from and how you were brought up and how you understand gender.
Give me examples of when you say you feel like whoever you talk to here that were born in America and have more the American culture, their gender or the question of gender really matters.
It's just so complex. Even I'm starting to really understand all these things, or at least engage with it so much more, that it is tough for me to pinpoint it down. But there's someone in my life who I care about very much, and we met actually during the pandemic and whatnot. So it's been a few months, and when I met them, they were a she. And now they're they. And I remember that we were on FaceTime, and they tell me oh, this is something I've been meaning to talk to you about. I've been thinking about this, but now being in university and having conversations and deeper conversations about this, I realize I'm non-binary. And my preferred pronouns are, the pronouns I wish to be called by. I hate the fact that they say preferred. It's not preferred, it's what your pronoun is. They, them. I'm like, great. That's great. But why? And let's talk about that. And we did talk about, because they said, well, see, I see you as kind of non-binary. I'm like, oh, I see what you mean, but I don't need to be non-binary. And then I said, I think it's because of my culture and how I see gender from across the Atlantic Ocean. And they kind of agreed and said, okay, I see what you mean, because you do feel kind of non-binary. You don't need to add another label to it. It's just you are, And I'm like, I see what you mean, and I don't get bothered by you feeling like my essence as non-binary. I'm quite the contrary. I don't really care. It just doesn't matter. I don't want to be seen as a man, because I have issues with men on some level. Not all men, but my biological father is a particular type of person and definitely tainted my vision of the man and what a man is and should be and whatnot. So I don't want to be identified as a man. That's a fact. You could say they, it wouldn't bother me. I say she because it's what I've always known, and there you go. But it was really interesting because we're both going through this transitional phase in our life and learning more and more about ourselves, and I've changed my style and they've changed their gender. And so we talk about it, and it's like, oh wow, okay. But how are you? So they kept their scene style. They still dress, I mean, mostly like a woman of today, you know, in New York and stuff, like with the baggy pants and the this and the that. But there will be cleavage, there will be all of that. I wear a sports bra every day now, which is not something I used to do. But yet again, I'm still a she, and I'm not gonna change, and they're a they.
You said, my vision of men has been tainted, and can you tell me more about that? Like, what is your vision of men? Or what is it you don't want to be affiliated or as a man?
What's great is that I was gifted, and I do believe that it's a gift, with 4 parents and 2 families and just like an abundance of humans and personalities. And my mother always said I got this like fan from personalities to pick from. So when I meet someone, I'm like, oh, okay, I have so much already. So I got lucky that my biological father is, you know, I believe everything's a spectrum. He's over here. He's the macho man, the man that won't cry, the man that's, why are you like that? The man I don't want to be. And then on the other side of the spectrum, I have my chosen dad, who is a man that does cry when I get a good grade. You know, or when we show like his kids, he sees his kids doing their handshake and like he'll shed a tear. He's the man that cooks and cleans, and it doesn't matter. He's a good man, and that's, if I were a man, that's the man I would want to be. So my biological father definitely tainted my vision of the man, but I have been gifted another man to see that you have great men. However, in the world, I don't, like when I meet a man, I don't know if you're a good one or, well, I mean, everything's a spectrum. I should actually, since I say everything's spectrum, I shouldn't say if you're a good or you're bad. No, but like, I don't know where you fall on the spectrum of macho to not, or whatever the spectrum might be. I'm gonna be aggressive off the bat because I need you to know, don't mess with me. Because if you are the macho man, we're not gonna work. And even just talking about it, you see that my attitude changes. I don't want to be put in situations where, you know, I'm gonna be mansplained or talked down to, or my sexuality is gonna be questioned or put into a certain light that's like it's for men or whatever. So I am definitely aggressive at first when I meet men. And as soon as I'm like, oh no, we're fine, like you're great, I'm cool, and my wall gets taken down.
What are the attributes of being a woman? What does that mean for you?
I can't exactly say why I'm a woman, and why I identify with the gender that I was born with. I think that I was taught that being a woman means you're motherly, you are caring, you take care of people around you, but then you can also be strong, and like then there's a professional woman. I don't know, because my definition of a woman, I'm very aware, is conditioned and constructed. I can just say who I am. I'm a woman, and I'm ambitious and very caring and very motherly and sisterly and very independent and all of these things, but that's just me. And I don't think it necessarily is tied to my gender.
Yeah, so hearing you, we had this conversation with Lois Holtzman, was basically saying, I am a gender, I'm a woman, and at the same time, I don't want to be defined, labeled, or even to identify with that, or to be identified by society by only that thing. It's just, I'm much more than that, or less, or, you know, any, you know, and it resonated like when you were just saying, I'm a woman and I'm strong, I'm a, you know.
And yeah, of course, like the principle of the yes and. Thing, I think, I can put it very shortly. I don't care. In this country, gender is everything. Your labels are everything. It's like, oh, what are you? Hello, I am black. I am gay. I'm a woman. Why? I'm French. I'm a French New Yorker. That's what I am. That's it. I just don't care. So I'm a woman because I was born a woman, and I'm happy to be a woman. I'm happy to be kind of the underdog, you know, like, oh, I have to go and break the glass ceiling. I'd rather be that than a white man on top, but then if I were a white man, maybe I want to be that. Thing is, I'm just happy with what I was given, and I'm also grateful that I am happy with the fact that my body is my body and I feel good inside of it. I don't care. If someone thinks in the street that I'm a woman, so be it. If you think I'm non-binary, so be it. If you think I'm a stud, so be it. If for your definition I'm femme, so be it. It doesn't really matter to me. What matters is the people that I care about, the people in my life, that they see me the way I see myself. And everybody else, it's just not my problem.
Were you a moment though, an experience when you felt this label of your gender was limiting yourself? Yeah.
I have felt anger because I see that people believe that I should be limited based on what I am or like what my labels are or whatever. I don't personally feel limited because my mother was a woman that didn't really have a race. She's French Brazilian. She looked Arabic. She was strong and powerful and all wonderful woman, very motherly, but also a kick-ass like businesswoman who built the life she wanted. She wanted the kids and the husband and the house and the job, and she had it all. So since I had that growing up as an example, I've never felt like, oh, I can't achieve what I want to achieve because of my whatever, my race or my gender, whatever. But I have felt deep rage in times when that is challenged. Mostly now, actually, with my age. Like being in the corporate setting and everything, I'm the youngest person on my team. Ageism is real. I am treated like I'm less smart, or my ideas will just be run over, or I'm talking and I get interrupted. And I can tell when it's because I'm black or because I'm a woman. No. It's because I'm young in those things. That drives me mad. Because I know I can do the things, but the fact that you think I can't is where the rage comes from. It's not from, I feel stuck and I won't be able to do what I want to do.
Okay, got you. What about the opposite? Do you feel your gender or the way it's defined empowers you?
Yes. What I love about the fact that I have these three identities is that even though technically women aren't minorities, we are kind of given the term of minority because, we need to move up. Like, we need to make our place. I love that when I walk down the street and I see a woman, it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? You're what? Awesome. I walk down the street, I see a gay person, I'm like, oh, yeah, awesome. And then I walk down the street and I see a black person, it's like, oh, hey man, what's up? Having all of that, it's hugs, it's community everywhere I go. That's what labels mean to me, more than anything else, rather than seeing it as oh, I'm oppressed, I'm this, and no, I see it as I have community. I have love anywhere.
You have a key, the entrance key to many communities.
When you walk into a room and it's just filled with men, take the race out of it, just men. And then there's that one woman. She is your new best friend. You don't even know her, but she's your new best friend. Why? Because she's a woman and you're a woman. And there's that affiliation. There's that, okay, let's get together. Let's stay close. And I love that my identities allow me to have that everywhere I go. It's like huddle.